you go.
Oh, great. Looks good.
This morning, we're going to do some serious off-road driving. So let's have a look at Cherokee's four-wheel drive capabilities. This is the transfer case lever, which is used to change the gears between high and low ratio and Jeep's unique select track four-wheel drive system. For ordinary driving conditions, two-wheel drive's perfect. If, however, you want the extra traction of four-wheel drive for, say, wet roads or gravel, move the transfer lever to full-time four-wheel drive. You can do this at any speed, but just let the accelerator off a bit so that it'll engage. The green light will come on in the dash to show that you're in full-time four-wheel drive. If you're driving off-road and maximum traction is required, select part-time four-wheel drive. Now you can do this at any speed, but just let the accelerator off a bit for it to engage. The orange indicator light will show that you're in part-time four-wheel drive. Don't be confused by the term part-time. It refers to the fact that in this mode the centre diff is locked for maximum traction. Part-time means that you shouldn't drive permanently in this mode on sealed roads or other hard surfaces. For severe off-road conditions like this steep hill, you'll need to engage 4 low, or four-wheel drive low range. Now you can do it while you're moving, but you'll need to travel at less than 5 kilometres an hour. Put the automatic gear shift in neutral, then shift the transfer case lever to the left before pulling it firmly back into 4 low. Go back into drive, and up you go. If the track looks very slippery, you can get added traction by reducing your tyre pressure a bit. To drive down a steep slope, make sure you're in low range and put the automatic shift into first. The engine compression in low range will help to maintain traction. Use the brakes lightly and sparingly to avoid sliding. Just let the engine and the gearing do the work for you.
When you look at a track like this one, it's hard to imagine any vehicle making it across. But let me tell you, this is where the Jeep excels. But there are a few tricks to note. Use low-range four-wheel drive in first. Place your wheels carefully to minimize the risk of scraping the undercarriage and damaging the transmission or differentials. Don't work the accelerator, just try to remain at a constant speed and let the vehicle walk over the obstacles. If you get into a situation where one wheel loses traction, the track lock limited slip differential will provide drive to both rear wheels. When you get back onto level ground, you can go back into high range. But if you're still in rugged terrain, it may be a good idea to stay in full-time four-wheel drive, just in case.
Your Cherokee can ford water to a depth of 50 centimetres without damaging the engine or the electronics. But there's a few precautions you should take first. You should assess the speed of the flow of the water. It's not advisable to cross swift-flowing or flooded rivers at all.
Even the Cherokee, weighing 1.5 tons, can get washed downstream if the current's too strong. But if it looks okay, strip off and wade through where you plan to drive. Off you go. Watch out for yabbies.
Gee, thanks. I always get the good jobs. The things to look out for are deep holes, or hidden logs, boulders. You also need to make sure that your exit point is feasible. Also, it might be a good idea to mark your path with sticks. Okay.
Use low-range four-wheel drive and just try to keep a steady speed. The trick is to create a bow wave and keep the vehicle sitting in the trough behind it. When you're out of the water, check the brakes. If they've been affected, lightly touch the brake pedal for the next couple of 100 metres or so. Heat from the friction will quickly dry them out.
Fancy fish and chips? For normal driving conditions, your tyres should be inflated to 30 pounds per square inch in the front and 35 in the back. But driving in sand is a completely different matter. In soft sand, flotation's the key. So the tyres need to be deflated to 15 to 20 psi. This increases the contact area of the tyre, so the vehicle sits on the sand rather than digs into it. It's also a good idea to carry a tyre gauge and a means of re-inflating the tyre once you get back on the tarmac. A foot pump's not a bad idea, but a battery-powered compressor's better. For sand driving, you'll need to be in four-wheel drive part-time, either in high or low range, depending on the conditions. When driving on a beach, the sand towards the waterline is usually fairly hard. If you're heading a long way up the beach, do it when the tide's on the ebb so you can get back again before high tide. On soft dunes, momentum's the key, so try to keep at a constant speed. Always tackle a dune head on, as it can be very dangerous to get sideways on a dune face. And remember, don't go speeding up to the crest of a dune without knowing what's on the other side. There's a good chance it could be a nasty drop. When descending a dune, head straight down the face. Don't use your brakes to slow down. Let the gears and the friction of the sand do it for you. If you start to slide, turn into the slide and accelerate to regain traction. Even with Jeep's galvanised body, sand and salt are the two worst things for corroding your Cherokee. So, when you finish playing Lawrence of Arabia, be sure to give the vehicle a good hose down, including the undercarriage and any moving parts.
enjoyed it. It was great. You glad we came?
Yes,
Yeah, it was about time. Well, I finally got him to come to the theatre, and the show was brilliant. Wasn't it, darling?
It's terrific.
I'm gonna wash that man right out of my head.
Well, a little after dinner supper, darling?
Oh, not for me. I just want to go home and have a good night's sleep in a comfortable bed. You go ahead.
My turn.